How do you know a situation is worth waiting for in a friendship, romantic relationship, or family relationship? Yeah. How do you know a situation is worth waiting? I'd love to hear your thoughts, PD, on this. I would say from my side, I think it's important to know what season that person is in. First and foremost, I do. Again, I think we're in a culture where we're cutting people off too quick and we're not considering where somebody is in their lives, in their perspective. So I think that's worth giving a consideration. Could this be a season of life where this person is enduring a lot of loss and a lot of pain? That's why they're distant. Is this person dealing with a lot of stillness? Things are chaotic. Believe it or not, man, I know that busy people being too busy to send a text. I get that for sure. And I definitely see that. And I'm not even arguing against that. I think you also do recognize that there are things you prioritize. There are things that you choose to label as important. You do what you choose you want to do. But there does have to come to a place where it's like, if y'all have ever had days where stuff just goes by so fast, busyness overwhelms you, texting that person might not be the first thing on your mind. There's a lot of other things to consider. I don't know. I just think that I'm an individual who's pretty slow, at least now where I'm at. And especially the people I'm connected to, where that is a legitimate thing, to some extent. And being willing to give grace to that area and not be so caught up in selfishness and things having to go your way for it to be legit. Um, I just think people got lives, things happen, you never know. So I would say consider where that person is in the season of life that they're in. I definitely pray on relationships. I definitely pray on relationships. I'm a huge fan of witnessing the presence of God in people that I connect with. So if I really do believe, and I've prayed on it, and I really do believe that God's presence here, I don't know to what degree and what this relationship could be, but I'm present in it. I think that's something to consider too. I do think a situation is worth waiting for when you get an understanding on where everybody is. So you know where you are and you get an understanding on where that person is. Now you get to determine, cool. Do I want to stay? And if so, for how long do I want to stay? I just think that there has to be a willingness to not necessarily put timetables on those things either. I think that's important too. So maybe I would say those few things off rip. I might have more, but I would say your situation is worth waiting for when you're witnessing the presence of God in the midst of that relationship. You have an understanding on where both of you are in the season of life that individual is in, and you understand the capacity that you have to determine on whether or not you're willing to stay through inconveniences. Because I think the quickest way to give yourself room and excuse to bail early is when you put a timetable on things. If you give this person 90 days to figure it out, you might as well just go ahead and potentially just throw up the deuces, because it's a great possibility that it doesn't happen in 90 days. So does that mean that the relationship is no longer legitimate, necessary, genuine? So I would consider those, because I know for my situation, I know for me, the reason I've chosen to be willing to build a genuine friendship relationship with this individual is because I've noticed that when we're connected, it's a dope time. I've noticed that the conversations we have, not only is this like not necessarily normal per se, but God is present. I don't know to what degree, I can't tell you. I just know he's present because of the conversations and connection that we've built and we've carried throughout this time. And I feel like, to me, any relationship where I understand that he's present, I'm not willing to just leave that because of something so minuscule as a delayed response. I want you to think about that. A delayed response is all it took for you to throw up the deuces. Not that person lying to you, manipulating you, two-faced, and one person here, another person there. No, it was a delayed response. I just think that there's so much selfishness that we got to die to in order to overlook that, especially if it's a genuine relationship and connection we want to build with somebody. So know what you want, know the capacity you have, and understand the seasons people are in, man. I just think that's something to consider. What are your thoughts, PD?
Man, well, I don't have a lot, truthfully. I think that you really exhausted that. The only thing that I would add to that briefly is that I'm I agree with you, but I'm just going to go I'm going to peel off of that for just a second. I am going to start with me because I want to be true to what I'm after too. So on the age I am depends if I'm looking to start a family and this person's like, hey, I'm not there. I'm gonna be in school for another 3 to 5 years. I'm working on this. I'm working on that. Then and if that person is saying, I don't know if I want a family, but hey, because they're going to be done with school, that means they're going to be starting a career. Maybe that person isn't going to be the person for me because I might already be ready for that. So I think that how you know is by really having some really honest and sincere conversations, but they should start with you You should know exactly where you are. You should know what you want. You should be willing to walk away from anything that you believe is not going to yield what you need, because I think it is unfair to the other person to put pressure on them to try to make them come over to your side. So if you see that it is not working for you, then you gotta call it. You just gotta call it. You gotta say, hey, I hear you, man. I would this she would have been, or he would have been. If you're a female, you would have been the perfect person. Hey, they're not in that season of their life, as you had alluded to. So you got to make another adjustment, man, with that. So how do you know that they're that person? Your conversation is going to tell you, man. Hey, are we on the same page? Are we going in the same direction? Do we have the same values? That's another thing too. Do we share the same values? Do we share the same future goals? And are they in a time frame that works for both of us, so that neither of us has to feel like we're giving something to the relationship that we didn't want to give at this particular point in time in order to make it work? Because I'm gonna tell you, no matter what happens, a level of resentment comes from that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I would also add to that too, man. Like, do you see them giving an effort to try, in the friendships and the relationships, whatever it could be? Like, if you see them giving an effort to try, I think you should give that some more consideration as well. I love all that. Hey, listen, if you stuck to the end of this, from the bottom of my heart, thank you oh so much. If you want to hear more of these kinds of conversations in this format, please check the description below. There you will find a link to sign up for a Maverick membership. This is where the Truth Project sessions go down every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, where you can be a part of conversations just like the one I shared in this video. Your worldview is welcome, no matter what worldview you come from, and we're all there pursuing one goal: truth. Check the link in the description, sign up, 3 days for free. After that, it's $9.99 a month, but you'll get your money's worth and then some. I'll see you over there, and until next time, be easy and be breezy, my friend. Peace.